Russo and Rizzo. It is a Wednesday edition of the program, the 21st of January, 2026. Welcome on in, folks. Colin Russo and Mike Rizzo. We got Christian Cat. As always, it's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida, all those great places. Got a lot to talk about today. Got a lot of guests today. We'll hear from the Kaiser University Athletic Director, Mr. Chris Swager, in just about 25 minutes. We'll hear from Steve Politziner, the guy who is the Good Karma Brands president, the Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer, and the Palm Beach Guards Youth Athletic Association vice president.
We got playoffs coming up, Kyle.
We have playoffs coming up in youth basketball, where we coach a 7th and 8th grade boys basketball team. We've done this for about, I would say, 2 months. And we're, I would say, the best team in the league. We have some injury issues right now. We've had a number of broken wrists on the team. So
well, our best player is probably done for the season.
Yeah. So and we also have 2 other players who broke their wrists. So because of that, we have situations where we're just going to have to deal with this.
Right.
And on top of this, the playoffs start this weekend, and there's a long playoff process.
Yeah.
You know, they think the NBA playoffs last too long when it starts from April 18th to June 18th. Boy, does Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association
rivaling it.
We'll get into that a little later on into the program. But nonetheless, a lot of things to touch on. Coaching carousel stuff. Mike McDaniel has found a home. And Darian Mensah, the quarterback of Duke, is trying to enter the transfer portal, and Duke is saying, we will sue you. We are suing you. We will make this a legal battle if we have to. So a lot of things to touch on. Let's start with what's going on with the Buffalo Bills, because the Buffalo Bills have been in the news cycle for probably all the wrong reasons ever since they lost that game to Denver over the weekend. They fired Sean McDermott, but they kept their general manager, which was viewed in a lot of ways as a bad move because it's a little scapegoaty. Now, Sean McDermott was somebody who has not succeeded there. It is definitely one of the worst, least successful dynasties in the history of the NFL in terms of success regular season-wise. But a couple of the audios we want to play here really quickly. And we'll knock these out. So first things first, Terry Pegula and the Pegula family is the owners of the Buffalo Bills. And Terry Pegula is sort of the spearhead of that family. He had a press conference with Brandon Beane. Brandon Beane is the longtime general manager of the Buffalo Bills, has been there for nearly 10 years, has basically built them to what they are today in some capacity. They asked Brandon Beane a question about Keon Coleman, who has been
a nightmare. He's been a nightmare.
He was a highly rated draft pick, 2nd round for the Buffalo Bills, thought to be a big-time player out of FSU, and he was a healthy scratch throughout the year. They basically played him when they had to. He's a nightmare. He is not going to be coming back. Point being is they asked Brandon Beane, well, along the lines of Sean McDermott, he got fired, but you're the one who built the team, and the team had roster issues. What do you say about that? And they mentioned Keon Coleman's name. Here is what Terry Pegula, the owner of the Buffalo Bills, said when a reporter asked Brandon Beane that earlier today at Bills Availability.
Can I interrupt? I'll address the Keon situation. The coaching staff pushed to draft Keon. I'm not saying Brandon wouldn't have drafted him, but he wasn't his next choice. That was Brandon being a team player and taking advice of his coaching staff, who felt strongly about the player. And, he's taken, for some reason, heat over it and not saying a word about it, but I'm here to tell you the true story.
He's taking heat about it because he's the GM.
So the general manager, allegedly, according to the owner of the team, after the coach was fired, says that the coaching staff was the reason that Keon Coleman was drafted, who is probably a colossal bust for Buffalo standards.
Yep.
And that is not his fault, and he trusted the coaching staff, this, that, and the other. Here's another audio of Brandon Beane at the Combine after Keon Coleman, as a Combine participant, ran a 4.57 in the 40-yard dash, which is not that fast for wide receiver standards. Here is what Brandon Beane had to say when they did an all-access look at the Bills Combine.
Bed that night, I was like, it's Keon unless someone just blows us away. We didn't feel anything was attractive enough for us to pass up on Keon.
All things considered. All things considered. Get the guy who's so special.
This might be obvious, but so tomorrow, who are we picking?
We're just going to keep trading more. We're going to get 14 fifths. Barring someone offering us something stupid, we'll take Keon Coleman there.
So I apologize, Kyle. I found that from the War Room on some documentary that, was all access with the Buffalo Bills, I believe during the 2024 NFL Draft when they selected Keon Coleman. I can't take that serious. I think this is an owner who's trying to defend the reason for keeping the GM around. I think he likes the GM. I think he wants to keep him around. But in the end of the day, he deserves a lot of the heat. And to throw poor Sean McDermott and the coaching staff under the bus like that, listen, I know the guy's no longer there anymore, but at the same time, talk about letting the door hit you on the butt on the way.
Yeah, let's forget Joe Brady sticking around and taking that head coaching gig. I'll tell you that.
Dude, I mean, I feel like it's a really bad move by the owner to do this, and it just seems like he has no grasp of what's going on with the roster. And is he aware Keon Coleman is still – this is a player that is still on the roster. I think that's the bigger deal here.
2 years into his contract.
They're talking about a young player who is the 32nd pick, 33rd pick overall in the draft, who has struggled and who probably needs guidance from the coaching staff that's going to be coming in, from general management and ownership. Like, you think they'd want to get behind the young man and try to get the best out of him instead of, oh, yeah, well, he stinks, and the coach that is no longer here is the reason we selected him with our first pick of the second round. I mean, last pick of this first round, first pick of the second round, shooting from the hip when he was drafted. But you get what I'm saying. Like, he's on the roster. Why the hell are you talking about a player like this who's, supposed to have a big season for you coming up next year?
Isn't it just so blatantly scapegoaty? The way they're putting it, the way they're phrasing it, the way that they're finger pointing. They're trying to absolve themselves of any blame. And they're trying to do that because they're protecting themselves in the eyes of the media. But this guy's already fired, so everything that was wrong with this team went out the door with him.
Right.
That's what they're trying to give you the impression of. In my impression, it tells the fans that you think the fans are stupid. Because that's in my opinion, you're calling the fans idiots if they believe that. That this was just all a Sean McDermott's nuking of the entire roster. Fun fact, we said it earlier this week. Brandon Beane has drafted 56 players since Josh Allen was selected in 2018. 56. 2 of them are Pro Bowlers. Dawson Knox and James Cook.
And I'm assuming a lot of them didn't get second contracts, aren't on the team anymore. They had to bring back Tre'Davious White this year to play corner. I think that should tell you everything about the way the Bills have drafted and built around Josh Allen. You guys
they haven't drafted well.
Yeah,
they haven't selected well. They haven't developed very well.
And people were bringing up they didn't re-sign Stephon Diggs. Listen, I actually thought that was the right move at the time. I thought that Diggs was a big distraction and whatever. But, I mean, you think Diggs has found new life with the Texans last year and now with the New England Patriots playing for an AFC championship?
Yeah, you think they miss him? Absolutely.
No. Well, he doesn't miss the Bills. I'll tell you that.
They miss him.
Correct. So I can't I like defending the Bills. I like, as you say, having a soft spot for the Bills, giving them the benefit of the doubt. But this is an owner that is completely disconnected from things going on around him. And like you said, kicking a man while he's already out the door.
Does this make the Bills a less desirable job in your eyes?
I don't think so, because the quarterback. You got the quarterback. You could deal with this.
I think it does.
You could deal with a senile owner. Now,
you got a bad general manager.
I think that's the part that I would agree with you is you're going to have to live together with the general manager who, number one,
he's not going to help you in any way, and he's not going to help you in any way.
I think he's egotistical. I think he calls into radio shows the whole 9 yards. All right, if Brandon Beane wants to call 888-760-3776, by the way. But at the same time, I just the roster construction, the drafting process, it's been an issue. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. The defense. McDermott, a defensive guy, we kept asking all year long and questioning, how the hell is the defense this bad under Sean McDermott? Now I'm kind of starting to understand why. Maybe the blame doesn't lie schematically. It lies with how the team was built. I think that's, you could take something from that as well, is that the GM did a bad job of setting this team up for success. And they're lucky that they have a top 3 wherever you rank Allen. All right, wherever you rate Allen, he's top 3 in the league. And if you don't rate Allen as a top 3 quarterback in the league, I question I want to say your ball knowledge, but you get what I'm saying. This is a GM who has failed a really good quarterback right now.
Yeah, if I'm a coach, a prospective coach, the Bills were on the top of everybody's lists, right? You want to get involved with the Bills. It's a good franchise for all things considered. They've had a lot of success in the playoffs. They have a great player sitting there who could sort of will you to the playoffs every single year. They get great fans, everything like that. I think this whole charade hurts them a little bit because I think you see a whole lot of throwing other people under the bus. The coaches like accountability. They like places and people that embody accountability. This is the opposite of that. I'm not saying this sort of draws you in a different direction, but if the Ravens call and the Bills call, if that was a week ago, you're probably leaning Bills. The Ravens call and the Bills call today, you're having a little bit more of a conversation.
Right.
Because you don't want to deal with what the Bills have going on behind the scenes. What if Sean McDermott eventually comes out and and listen, Mike and I were on the same page that they should move on from McDermott, that this has sort of run its course and it's probably run stale. But I was also under the impression that the front office goes too.
Yeah.
You have a good, well-constructed team right now. Go get somebody to get the most out of them.
It sounds like he has the ear of the owner. The GM has the ear of the owner and has favoritism with the owner.
And it's my least favorite thing about how NFL owners operate, because I think a lot of the times when they keep general managers around, and Chris Greer is the embodiment of this as well, is when they keep general managers around, owners, it's usually because they don't want to do the legwork to get a new guy in there. General managers, in a lot of ways, are the CEO of the team. They run everything. They hire the coach. They'll put together the roster. They'll put together the front office staff. All of that goes through the general manager. Stephen Ross notoriously has no interest in being involved in the day-to-day operations of the Miami Dolphins. The first thing the Miami Dolphins did post-Chris Greer era was they got rid of McDaniel, and then they got a new general manager in there before you could blink, and John Eric Sullivan from the Green Bay Packers.
Yep.
They knew it. They don't want to deal with the legwork. That's what these owners don't want to do. There are a rare amount of owners that have – Jerry Jones is different because he runs the team himself. Not a lot of owners. They just like to sit back and, they'll foot the bill, don't go too far over signing bonus tax territory, and hopefully I trust the guys to do what they're supposed to do.
Call a spade a spade. They don't necessarily care.
I don't know about care.
They don't necessarily care.
They're not, they don't want to do
it.
It takes every day. It takes 365 days a year to run a football team, and they don't want to do that.
I just don't think they care if they win or not. They're making money. It's the NFL.
Depending on the owner.
You're
not totally wrong.
And Colin, I got to bring up the Browns too, because Andrew Berry is exactly the epitome of firing a coach but hanging on to a GM who deserves to be fired as well. You're seeing that a lot in the NFL.
They don't want to do the legwork to replace that. They don't want it because they already have it set. They already have a relationship. They feel like they have a good power allotment. The dynamic is good. Owners don't want to rinse and repeat that. That's exactly what's going on with the Bills.
Yep.
That, in my opinion, that's what a bad franchise does.
Yeah,
and the Bills are a good franchise, and it's kind of disappointing to see that.
Yeah, and it's just Bills-esque. It's the best way I could put it. Bills-esque to not – and listen, it was a lot of getting out of the playoffs and getting knocked out had to do with Josh Allen. All right, he played awful. But you're going to have a generational quarterback of this, whatever era of football you want to call it, and you might not win a doggone thing. That's Buffalo-esque. That's Bills-esque. And my heart's out there.
Underachievers, get out of your own way.
Right.
You can't do it.
And like you look at that Buffalo, you look at that Buffalo roster, and I think you got holes in a lot of places. You could use a receiver, you use offensive line, and you could arguably use everything on the defense. I mean, I don't think there's.
They get younger defense.
I don't think there's one position where you look at and go, "Yep, we are set. We don't need anything more."
Right.
So
they've done the experimental pass rusher who's aged out. Remember, they just had Bosa. They had Joey Bosa. And Joey Bosa, who had the late hit also in that game late on that second last drive for the Denver Broncos.
And Joey's a bit past it. And I like Bosa a lot.
They had Von Miller late in his career. It's because, and I know they had Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver. Outside of that, they haven't really developed much at all.
Yep.
So Matt Milano's been there forever. Trey White's been there forever. How often they had Maxwell Harrison, who was their big-time cornerback that they got in the first round last year. Outside of that, you don't hear a lot about the young studs that are coming through the Bills system.
To your point, they have definitely kind of reloaded on the fly with a lot of veterans. I mean, you mentioned Miller, you mentioned Bosa, and even the Tre'Davious White thing was crazy to me. Like, you're bringing back Tre'Davious White for a second time, And like you drafted a corner. It ended up panning out fine, but it just seems like with a team like this, you should be younger. You should be getting top tier talent, and maybe you should be spending your resources more. I think strategically. It's tough when you're paying the quarterback. I will give Bean that. It's tough when you're giving a quarterback a giant number. And
you just got to draft well.
He's the GM. Keep in mind, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Colin. He's the GM who complained about Joe Burrow being on a rookie contract after they lost in the snow. They lost in the snow at home in Buffalo to Cincinnati, and Brandon Beane says, well, yeah, it must be nice to have your franchise quarterback on a rookie deal and be able to allocate money at a bunch of different places. For so many words is what he said. Basically, the Achilles heel was that they lost to Cincinnati, and why they had the upper hand was because Joe Burrow was on a rookie deal. I had a major issue with that.
Yeah, I'd have to double check. I don't remember exactly what he said.
But regardless, it was along the lines of, it must be nice having your rookie quarterback on a rookie deal still.
Well, talking about allocating your resources properly, if you're somebody and you allocate your health properly, you got to make sure you get over to somewhere like Men's Only Medical, and they can take you to the next level.
Absolutely. It's the one-stop shop men's health clinic. Now, for all my women out there, you'll be all right. There's hundreds of women's clinics around West Palm Beach. This is the first of its own for men in downtown West Palm Beach. My guy, Dr. Al, he heads it. It's his practice. Doc Al is a Cardinal Newman man. He's a Miami Hurricane fan. Listen, local guy, Doc Al, one you could trust. If you have heart problems, they have expert cardiovascular care, EKG tests. If you need to pinpoint exactly what is going on with your ticker, go to Men's Only Medical. Skin assessment. If you have skin issues, Doc Al could take care of that. If you have hair loss solutions. You wouldn't believe some of the before and after pictures of the hair loss solutions that Doc Al has. Go see him on North Dixie Highway. If you're dealing with any of that stuff, go see him on North Dixie Highway because it's the one-stop shop for all that. Weekend warriors. All right, if you're a weekend warrior out there, you go a little too hard, you get a liquid IV the next day. That is all with the concierge healthcare service over with Doc Al and Men's Only Medical. Now, what I'm doing, Doc Al is my primary doctor. I needed a primary moving down here from Peoria, Illinois. I needed a primary. I went on into Men's Only Medical, got my VIP card, and now I'm a concierge healthcare member. And more on that. All right, if I got something going on, I was sick the other day. I go, Doc, I got this going on right now. I have his cell phone number. I don't need to call. I don't need to wait on a helpline. I have Doc Al's personal cell phone number to take care of me, and he could get me in as soon as that day. So go see what Doc Al could do for you on North Dixie Highway, or go to mensonlymedical.com. Mensonlymedical.com. Tell him Riz sent you.
Got Chris Swager, the Kaiser University Athletic Director, coming up after this. Steve Politziner a little soon after that. It's Russo and Rizzo taking a time out here on ESPN 106.3.
Let's get back to the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. This is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Listen, if you've been in a car accident, truck accidents, fell down the stairs, slip and fell, you never know what happens. My friends Mark Anajar and Glenn Levine are the type to get you back on your feet and the type to defend you. They don't even charge you unless you win. They work tirelessly to get you the maximum compensation that you deserve. When you're looking for an attorney, demand the best. Go get the best with Anajar and Levine. They are the best in the business, and they will defend you. They got my back. You know, Glenn Levine, by the way, I didn't even know how I was going to ship my bike over to my Ironman. So I call over Glenn Levine, and he says, dude, just use mine. That's exactly what I did with Anajar and Levine. Go check them out today. They are the best in the business. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Chris Swager, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Gatt, Kaiser University Athletic Director. Let's have some fun. Let's ask the AD with Kaiser University.
It's time to ask the AD. Kaiser University Athletic Director Chris Swager joins Russo and Rizzo to talk all things college sports, the latest on Kaiser athletics and more. Ask the AD is presented by Kaiser Seahawks Athletics. Learn more at kuseahawks.com.
Mr. Swager, welcome in with Colin Russo and Mike Rizzo. What's going on? Kaiser University, winter sports season's going on in the season. You're starting to hear a little bit more about spring season. What's going on with Kaiser?
Yeah. Our winter sports are more than halfway done. So you got our swim teams got their senior day this weekend. Then they'll start getting ready for conference and nationals. Basketball is kind of in the thick of the conference season. So they're kind of battling for anywhere from 1 to 3 now. Wrestling had a couple big wins in some matches last week, so they're getting ready for nationals. And then spring sports polls are starting to come out. You know, men's lacrosse just came out at number 1 overall in the country. Women are number 2. We got, baseball, softball, tennis, all that's about to come out as far as polls. So we're looking, I would expect us to have at least 6 teams ranked number 1 or number 2 in the country with a good chance to get the season rolling and hopefully hang some more banners soon.
Wow. How about that? So a couple things. Congratulations to Miami for being the runner-up in the national championship. Would you agree with that sentiment?
Yeah, so actually, Kaiser coaching alum Reed Ralowski's on the Indiana staff. So he was there.
What's his role?
Offensive analyst.
Okay.
Good stuff.
So he was there. It was a good game. I'm happy with the results.
You're happy with the results?
Yeah, it was a good game. And
is Miami back?
So that's interesting. I would say no. And here's why. Not because of Miami. I actually thought about this. So
and you're a Florida State guy.
But and I'll use Florida State as an example. I think what's interesting about the era we're in, it's going to take the next 4 to 5 years, and here's why. Because I in the past, if a team finished the way they finished, you had a decent idea on what the future would look like with the players on the team, who's coming back, who's playing, what's next.
Yes.
In today's era, it's going to kind of depend on who you sign. What's interesting to me is the teams that go farther, are they kind of put at a little bit of a disadvantage with recruiting replacements, right? So, are some guys that you would have gotten off the board earlier now gone? Okay. You're focusing on both, but obviously you're focusing on winning. And if you miss, Florida State's a good example. They had a good year. You miss on some key positions. And in the past, you had options behind them from, you recruited numbers and then you worked on the best guys on the field. Now you're giving out numbers. So if you pay someone at a high dollar amount, the chance of you benching them quickly is tough. You're kind of rolling with that guy. And I'm not even saying an injury. They don't pan out to the level you need. It's tough. Not to say they can't do it again, but I just think the way that we used to look at dynasties and how teams kind of continued and projecting from one year to the next, I think it's a thing of the past. Now it's going to be, who do they replace someone? It's almost worse the NFL because at least you have multi-year contracts there. Here it's year to year. You never know.
Yeah, and a lot of it is hush-hush. You don't understand. You don't really know how much these kids are making. Obviously, the universities do. But what do you make of Miami kind of, and we'll get into the Mensa situation in a second, but Miami now, Cam Ward 1 year, Carson Beck 1 year, Mensa, which is probably going to be a year.
Darian Mensa, the former quarterback of Duke, soon to be.
And we'll get into the whole drama behind all that. But what do you make of Miami going year by year with quarterbacks?
That's what I'm saying. It's if you hit, it's great. It's just the law of averages say at some point you're not going to hit to the level.
Yep.
I also, again, in the past, you're bringing a freshman class, sophomore class. Kids are willing to sit. They're not transferring. So if someone goes down, you you know who's behind him, and you got it. Like this year, if Carson Beck had gotten injured, who was coming in for him?
Kid who's in the transfer portal going to where? They had a guy that they recruited that was young but didn't have any
But you're saying, like, in the past, you would have you
Right.
had kind of a second, a third, a fourth. Now, so going into next year, if they would miss on someone, the guy that was supposed to go in this year may not be there anymore. So you're bringing in another. Again, I'm not saying it can't work, but I just think the way that
You're shooting darts at a dartboard, and
eventually you're going to miss.
Okay.
Right? Now, I think, obviously.
You make an argument that they missed with Carson Beck, with the amount that they paid versus what they
Right, but
got.
even someone like Tony, right? I guarantee. I mean, there's people whose agents are saying just go in the portal to see what you can get. Even if you want to come back, make them give you more money. That eats the cash up, so then you can't pay as much somewhere else. I mean, I just think it's going to be a lot harder to have teams that continue to do it year in, year out at a high level. If I think obviously Ohio State's done it before. You've got some teams that I think recruit at a high level from high school and are able to develop and keep people in the system.
Yep.
I'm interested to see what happens if you are year to year. The positive is if you're getting the top guy every year and he pays off, that's a higher level guy than you would have signed at a high school.
You just buy a bunch of finished products.
But again, if you miss at any given time, where does that put you?
Yeah.
You miss on a quarterback, a top receiver, an edge rusher, and a safety, you're kind of screwed,
Yeah. And then, Chris, it's getting harder and harder to retain players.
Right.
You mentioned the Buckeyes. They were able to retain players that were studs this year, like Arvell Reese is going to be a top 5 pick. This was his first year starting. Kenenya Jackson, first year start. These are guys who decided to sit and stay and not make money elsewhere. But now the Buckeyes had 30 guys in the portal. So it's starting to change now.
Right.
It's starting to change, and you get worried on the year by year, and that's why I think you gotta relegate it somehow. You got to regulate it somehow.
Right.
You got to put a hard cap on it or whatever it may be, because it's not sustainable. Right. The main thing is that it's not sustainable, and year in and year out, there are going to be teams that get burned.
And look,
first of all, Florida State got burned too in the portal.
Yeah, they did. I mean, they missed a few times. The year they were good, they hit, and those guys stayed for that second year. And then coming back, I mean, when the year that they had the horrible season, even Saban said they had the best D-line in the country, and then that didn't pan out because those guys just didn't do what they're supposed to do. So I mean, to Miami's credit, Cristobal's, obviously he's an amazing recruiter. They can fill with talent. So I'm not saying they can't do it. It's just, again, when you throw dollars and cents out and you're bringing guys in for 1-year deals, 2-year deals, I think it's a little different, especially if it doesn't quite work out the way they wanted at the beginning of the season. Now they're looking for their next move, their next stop. It's harder to move on from that guy. So it'll be interesting to see.
And the barriers that are coming about in terms of the things that keep players at schools, Chris, I want the Kaiser University athletic director yourself, so you understand this at least to a degree of where this comes from an administrative perspective. Let's put you in the perspective. Let's say you're the AD of Duke, and Darian Mensah, who is your star quarterback that you have signed, whatever signed means these days, to a 2-year NIL contract where you sign away the NIL rights to the school. He makes $4 million for the school. He's going to play quarterback there for 2 years, whatever it might have been. And the transfer portal was about to close. You thought this was away and done with. And in the last final hours of the transfer portal, before Miami plays their national championship, Miami, who's been striking out on recruiting, decides to throw a last-ditch effort, a whole lot of money, sort of an offer you can't refuse to Darian Mensah. He requests to enter the transfer portal. And in the days following, in the last week, I would say, it has turned into a legal battle in which Duke ended up suing Mensah. They put the hands of this case into a judge. The judge said this is going to be like a February 2nd situation. And because Mensah signed over his NIL rights, Duke has those. Duke has to give those up. But Duke, in a lot of ways, is being petty because they want him to stay. They want him to keep him around. From your perspective, would you go along the lines of stay petty in this situation, or would you, hey, if the kid doesn't want to be here, the kid doesn't want to be here, what do you do in this situation?
I don't even think it's petty.
I don't think it's petty.
Okay.
And here's what I'm trying to say. It's a business decision. Here's what everyone, and I've said this, I talked to a lot of people about this, is once you start putting money involved, it's a business decision, right? So I think in this scenario, it wouldn't shock me if he doesn't play for Duke, but he doesn't play anywhere. I think it's just the line. From what I understand from the small amount I've read, it wasn't so much he's going there. It's that the terms of the NIL were
2 years.
Well, it also outlined, like, if you're going to get out, you've got to notify us. You have to do this. You're not going to go in the portal. You're not going to request this. Like, he did stuff behind the scenes that violated the contract. It wasn't simply he's leaving. It's he signed it and then did things directly against what it said.
Right.
So, yeah, I think they need to, I mean, I would stay my ground. I mean, at that point, or else if you don't, when are you going to?
You're saying, and if you're under the impression, like, if you're Duke, you're thinking everybody else is watching us because we are now a precedent for likely a whole lot of other schools that are going to have to deal with this if we were to roll over.
Well, and let's be honest. I mean, and here's the other thing with Duke. Duke has, obviously, they have a great basketball team. They have a history of basketball. So I don't think this is just about football. It's across their sports. Baseball, they've been solid.
Yes. Good sports. It's
yeah. So
it's
it's like if you let someone fold in football, you're going to do it in basketball. If UConn comes and tries to take a basketball player, if UCLA's calling, I think you got to draw a line this time. But I also think there does have to be some accountability in general, just on both sides. You know, I think part of that, again, if I'm in this situation, I'm probably doing it more because I'm angry at the school that came after him.
So
as much as the kid who made the decision.
You think Miami's wrong in the situation for making that move to go after somebody that's in a lot of ways signed?
That's what has to be defined right now. I think the problem is there's so many gray areas. Do I think ethically it wasn't great? Sure. But, was he in the portal? Did he tell them? I mean, I'm sure they looked at the contract, but if they have an opportunity to get, if he ends up playing there, then I guess it's revisionist history on did they do the wrong thing or did they do something competitively to stay in the hunt for a national championship?
What I think happened is they're giving him more money and a bigger brand exposure to play football.
So here's what's interesting.
It's more of a big deal to play football in Miami. You're going to play bigger games.
They gave him an offer he couldn't refuse.
So here's what I'm wondering, and I haven't seen this, but when I read this, the first thing I went to is he signs a $4 million NIL deal. If they're suing him for the $4 million and Miami pays the buyout, I'm going to pay the 4 and then give you 4. Can they just pay the buyout, like a buyout clause with a contract? Yeah. Like, could that start being what people are doing as far as just, I want you've already signed, I'll just take care of it for you. I was going to give you 8, now I'm going to give you 5. I'll pick up the 3 or 4 or whatever.
No, that's where it becomes, that's gray. Like
and that's where it gets really dicey.
Because then it looks like pay for play.
No.
And
it is. I mean, it is pay for play.
But legally, they're trying to avoid that title.
Yeah, I'm more concerned with, obviously they set this portal window up. You got to go in a certain time like that. I mean, those are the things they have to tighten up. As far as the money goes, the easiest way, and I think Calipari was talking about a couple weeks ago, was if you reinstate a rule for transferring, you can only do it one time without sitting. I think it ends a lot of this because he would have been stuck that way. He would have had to sit out regardless, so school's not going to come after him. I think the fact that you can transfer and play immediately is going to keep this going. But if he couldn't play next year, Miami's probably not calling him.
Good point.
So we're not even probably talking about this right now.
Now, Chris, let me ask you this from an AD standpoint too. Would you even want this quarterback to quarterback your team? Because
Duke,
he doesn't want to be there.
No,
he doesn't want to be there.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think he plays for Duke. I just think he doesn't play for
you. Think you think he burned that bridge?
The reason I'm bringing this up.
Yeah, because once you've moved on, I think this is a principle of, once you've just said, once you've come into my office, as a coach and said, hey, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm moving on. See you later. But I get it.
The reason I ask, Washington, Damon Williams, their quarterback was supposed to go to LSU. They said you can't. You're under contract now. It didn't go to court from what I'm.
Because his agent dropped him. He basically said we don't want to deal with this legal trouble.
Was that before or after Sam Levitt went there though too?
Right,
before
it was while he was visiting.
Well, I'm just saying that also probably played into that a little bit.
Maybe.
But at the same time, Washington is bringing a quarterback back that didn't want to be there. So I don't know. From an AD perspective, would you even want the young man there when?
Well,
he
again,
I
think it kind of has to go to how it went down. Again, from what I read and understand from the Duke case, is they kind of found out through back channels versus if I said, hey, listen,
as he was exploring.
I know I signed with you guys. Someone else called. I am going to take this call. I'm not saying. I mean, if you're upfront with it, I don't know if it's better, but at least I can trust someone. I think the bigger issue is if I can't trust you, then
you're going to take $4 million. We have your
then
rights.
how is this going to go at the end of the season?
Yeah.
I need you to play in a bowl game. I need you to play in a big conference game. You're dealing with something, and I need you out there, but your agent's telling. I mean, trust is the big thing. And again, I don't know how the Washington thing went down, but I think if you handled it differently, it'd be a little bit easier to do. But the timing of it, it's still, they got to do something, because at the end of the day, if the kid does have to sit, while I understand he made the decision, there's other parties involved grown-ups in
What do
the
you-
room
no,
that
no.
caused him to
Yeah.
sit, which is the problem.
Now, Chris, you mentioned something needs to be done, and I ask you the impossible. And if you don't got an answer, you don't got an answer. But how do you fix it? I mean, is it putting a salary cap on how much teams can spend on their roster? Is it making Division I teams who have more gold than Midas, like Alabama, the Ohio States? Is it capping them? How do you?
I think the first thing is limiting transfers without penalty, because if I can't transfer and play next year,
That's a good solution. People think so short term in terms of how much
I have money.
they're gonna pay you.
I have money in my hand right now. If I'm going to have to go and sit next year, I'm going to give this up. Why wouldn't I just stay for the $4 million, right? So I think that's the first thing. I definitely think they have to regulate the agents in this case. I mean, there's been a lot of talk. Like NFL agents, what is it, like a cap 3%?
Yeah,
they have to have a certain.
These guys are just trying to juice every last dollar out of it.
Right. And so I think that's the other problem is, they're going to keep calling around trying. So I think regulating that would start, and then I think you make the next decision. I don't think you solve it in one fell swoop. As far as the money goes, I think it's a little tight or hard because you've got companies giving the money. It's not the school.
Okay.
But I do think you have to go back to the purpose, which again is to go to college and get a degree. So if you can somehow tie the success rate of that to them being able to do these things, at least you're kind of righting the ship a little bit.
And that the school part is just so far gone at this point, I feel like.
Yeah. Carson Beck said in media availability that he hasn't taken a class in 2 years.
But
he graduated from Georgia.
But it's far gone for a small percentage. That's the problem I have. It's not the 95% of kids we're talking about.
It's collegiate athletes, yeah.
It's the small 5% of the collegiate athletes.
Yep.
Right? I mean, I look at it like, I don't know, I give some of this analogy. It may not make sense here, but it's like the lotto. If you win the lotto, do I have a problem with that? No. I do have a problem with the hundreds of thousands that are wasting money they may or may not have to try to win something they're never going to get.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily have a problem with the people that are, that are the ones taking advantage of it. It's just there's so many kids that are leaving situations. They have money in hand. They're leaving it for something else that then they don't get. Now they're kind of left standing with nothing, and no one's coming to save these kids, right? So that's the part of it I don't like. That,
and you don't see the horror stories of
right.
that either.
And also, I mean, I was talking to someone last week about 5-10 years from now is where we're going to see, like, hopefully all these kids, they're paying taxes, they're doing what they're supposed to do with their money.
Yeah.
But if not,
financial mismanagement,
it's going to come back and bite people in the butt, because you're talking about $4, $5, $6 million. You miss a small percentage of that. You didn't file the right way. Now what? I mean, you saw it in the NFL for a long time.
Yep.
So I can only imagine it's going to happen.
And the NFL put a ton into programs to prevent that, of players going broke and mismanaging everything. Like, yeah.
NFL, NBA, a lot of players, they have financial managers and all that, and they still lose money. So, that would be my bigger concern is the long-term success of these kids actually being helped in this situation.
And I mean, Kyle, realistically, let's say a young man who's getting $1 million, $2 million to play somewhere, doesn't have a chance to play at the NFL the next level, okay? Didn't pay taxes and now has to owe the government, $500,000, and he's not playing football getting millions of dollars anymore. Like, that's worst case scenario.
Right, and that's what Chris is talking about.
That's worst case scenario right there.
Right.
Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Chris Swager, Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3. Chris, last thing here. Have you been to Gasparilla?
I have been, but it was a long time ago. I mean, it's been over 20 years since I've been there.
Mike and I are both considering going to Gasparilla for the first time.
Okay.
And what do you think? Is it worth going?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's an event.
What
it would be like saying Mardi Gras. I went a long time ago. Would I go now? No. But if you said I've never been as an experience,
Mike,
I'd say go for it.
In? Mike's brother lives in Tampa, so there's his connection.
Yeah,
there.
and my brother said, "Come on down. We have our childhood friend Ope. He's flying in from Dallas." I just Chris, we have a youth basketball league, and I'm worried that the league might still be going on. If we don't have a game that Saturday, I will be going to Gasparilla.
Here's the thing. Our championship game, we'll talk to Steve. We're actually bringing in Steve right after you. Steve Politziner, who is the Palm Beach Gardens Youth Athletic Association vice president, who runs the league, best of 3 championship game. So it's a best of 3 on 3 different days, like we're the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
And there's like, a day.
I like it, though.
No.
Best
of 3?
A little much.
Best of 3? Why do we
Best team's going to win in a best of 3 format.
Let's do best of 7. Why not?
I mean, you could.
No. It's easier, one game. No.
Want to go home.
Anyone can win in one game. I like the 3-game format.
Oh, God.
I'm surprised Chris took the side of this.
Yeah.
the best team's going to win the more games you play. The longer the game, that's just the way it's going to work out.
Chris, we appreciate it as always. Appreciate you giving us a little bit of a rundown on what's going on with Kaiser. Where are you going next? What's the next big game on the slate?
We actually have home basketball tonight, 5:30, 7:30 against College of Coastal Georgia. And then, like I said, this weekend we've got senior day for swimming over at Lake Lytle, your stomping grounds.
Know very well.
So we got that going on. And then next Monday is our home opener for baseball. So we're already starting up there.
Appreciate it. That's Chris Swager, the Kaiser University Athletic Director. Appreciate it as always. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. That was our Ask the AD with Chris Swager. We'll loop in Steve Politziner just momentarily. Appreciate Chris for giving us the time. As always, Steve Politziner, our Good Karma Brands president, Palm Beach Sports Commission Hall of Famer. I believe he's on the phone right now, is he? Chris? Steve? You guys remember each other?
Yeah.
I'm here. And
Steve.
And Swager, smart, of course, much smarter than you two, who clearly want your season to end. And
well, hold on.
Hold on. That's not true.
That's not the right thing to say.
At all.
Steve, I'm just saying the best of three is a little much. And this was your idea, I assume, right? Did you go to this board meeting and say, let's do a best of 7, and they met at 3?
It's a new wrinkle that we decided to put in this year. I did present it to the board.
It was Uncle Steve's idea.
I knew it was Steve.
I was wishing it'd be Benji's idea.
Very, very well received because, it gives more of like a big time feel because as we know, like in the NBA, the most elite level, it's a series. So we wanted to give kids that same sort of excitement. Maybe give coaches an extra practice in between if they need to scheme.
In between, Steve, there's a practice. There's a game every day. It's like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
You make
Friday.
adjustments,
guys.
What do you have? Morning practice and game at night, like the NCAA tournament.
I think it's like Tuesday. I haven't seen the final schedule. It's either Tuesday, Thursday, so you get a Wednesday practice with the big championship being Saturday.
Colin,
hang on. 3.
When's the last time we had more than 3 kids at a practice? 2 months ago?
Yeah, maybe.
About 2 months ago.
4 kids is usually the usual.
I don't know.
That's a coach problem, it sounds like.
These guys, I know what's happening, Chris. They're trying to goad me into saying things so they could get, some locker room postings. And I'm not going to succumb. I'm not going to participate.
Hey, we have the locker room. We don't need help getting the locker room.
Last time I was on here, the morning basketball game came up, by the way, and they asked about
the pickup league,
morning ball, and they asked about like skill level, and I couldn't remember, but I did say the one thing that stood out to me is I remember Evan was accessory guy. Do you remember that, like headband, wristband?
Evan Cohen, by the way.
Evan Cohen.
Yeah, I mean Evan definitely had the headband. I like when you say accessories. I don't think he had like the arm sleeve.
I think he had a shooting sleeve on one time. I'm pretty sure I remember a shooting sleeve.
He had the shooting sleeve, the
headband. Evan came in with double shooting sleeves.
The Allen Iverson finger sleeves.
The fingers for the ball handling.
The whole thing.
Steve?
I didn't see that as Evan, but not totally my recollection. But Chris had he was like a 4 that could also shoot.
I was like a Euro player, is what you're saying.
Shane Battier.
Yeah. Yeah, I like a Battier type of player. Yeah, he was a 4 who could shoot. He liked the corners. He liked the edges, but he could bang down low. And we had many fun games. I'd love to hear him handicap my game.
Yeah. What type of player was Steve? Handicap. What type of player was Steve, Chris?
Steve's a lefty, first of all. So
what?
Oh wow, I didn't even know that.
Aren't you a lefty?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So right there. I mean, I love lefties. It's a clean. I don't know. It looks good. So he had the 3-point shot from the top.
Could he make it?
Yeah.
He was a shooter.
Yeah.
Was he a point guard? Did he facilitate?
Yeah, he facilitated. Well, you got to realize. I mean, that's the person you pass to has to make the shot. So like, there's different skill levels in this morning basketball game. So.
Steve would only pass to the guys who could hit shots.
No, I'm saying you pass, but is it going to go in or not on a given shot? I don't know.
I mean, was Steve a point guard?
Yeah, Steve's a point guard.
So Steve was a point guard, and his job is to facilitate whether the guy can make a shot or not, right? Steve?
Yeah, I kind of liken myself to like a Mike Conley Jr.
Yeah, that's a good comparison.
My game has been modeled after.
Buckeye, by the way, Buckeye.
Good comparison.
Great career, too.
Yeah.
Wow, so Steve, you're a facilitating,
deep
range possibilities.
Conley had some unreal handles. I don't think Uncle Steve's dribbling like Mike Conley personally, but we'll have to, I'll plead the fifth. I wasn't much of a dribbler. I was a 3-and-D guy for the record.
I've been telling Chris for a long time they should sort up this league again.
Yeah, I'll play. I'd play.
Chris would play. Steve would play. Steve?
No, I'm done.
Yeah, I hurt my knee last night. I don't even know how. Last week, it hurts now. So I'm done.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd be gassed, but I would definitely play. I miss basketball.
No,
I used to play 3 days a week.
Now I'm down to just coaching and cheering, coach rec, cheer the great kids that travel. My son Evan, of course, Ethan Bernstein, who's a part of your team in rec and our team in travel. Just love watching these kids. And then they have to hear me in the car there and back, giving them basketball analysis and advice.
Well, Steve, Mike and I's problem here is we were just talking to Chris about it. Is Mike and I have a slight interest in going to Gasparilla this year in Tampa. Are you familiar?
The Gasparilla Bowl?
No,
the Gasparilla
event.
celebration.
They're putting the needs of themselves over the needs of their team.
Yeah.
Is what's happening.
Hold on.
That's why they don't want to get 3-game series.
Chris, being unfair.
The Gasparilla Fest, yes, of course.
Colin,
I could see both of you guys in sort of a pirate sort of gear.
Yeah, right. I don't have the gear for it.
I have an eye patch.
You do have an eye patch.
I do have an eye patch.
Colin with an eye patch, and Riz with one of those big puffy shirts.
No, I like that.
I like the first mate.
That's how Mike dresses already.
Captain Jack Sparrow, correct.
Well, I think I have an eye patch laying around too. Not here, but I did own an eye patch.
I want the hat.
Have a coat. You clearly don't have a coat because you're broadcasting last night outside of TGL.
It's a tough one.
Here we go.
It's like 58 degrees. You don't have a tent.
The tent would flying away, Steve.
Steve, we need sandbags.
With you guys.
Uncle Steve, we need sandbags. We need a GKB budget to get some sandbags. I've been here 2 years. We don't have sandbags, brother. I need some sandbags.
Okay, well, you should probably tell somebody. I'm not the person to tell.
Yeah, Steve comes up to us at TGL yesterday with no tent, and it was when it was 58 degrees, it felt every bit because it was about 15-mile-an-hour winds with like 25.
Now, granted, I was stressed, Chris. I was stressed for it.
You look like me doing a remote in 2003 with the Stephen Craig show. Like we have all this stuff, all this setup that we have invested in, and you two guys are sitting there about to blow. Literally, you guys are leaning on the papers so they don't blow away. I don't know why you had so many papers.
That's Colin. Don't get me started
it's
on
all
that.
right here. It's all So Steve
I do have some video of it. It was not the greatest look for you two last night.
I disagree.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I disagree.
I didn't think it was that bad.
We couldn't keep the tent up because
you're
we
not
didn't
setting
have.
up a tent when it's going to blow away.
I mean, it almost blew away 5 times on us. We don't have sandbags. That's why I
the
said
tent's
I
for the
need
marketing
budget.
purposes, so people can see that where you're at. I mean,
Correct.
If you're just sitting there with a table.
I didn't have
it
wasn't.
That's not a remote.
Listen, it's not a. Hang on. It's not a table. It's a sports desk.
Yeah, have you seen our sports desk? It's a marvel of execution of of engineering. Have you not seen this before? You've definitely seen it. We've had it somewhere.
Yeah, we've had it at the
that's just not
Top
any.
63 events.
Right. That's it.
Yeah.
That's just not a table. That is a
Spare me
marvel of engineering.
You still need a tent. Brings people around.
I think
they can see from a distance.
But it's a TGL. It's a very quaint, intimate environment. You don't have to walk that far.
And your street team pulls it off. You guys could ask them for help. I mean, they do a good job.
We are the street team. What are you talking about?
I don't know, because
there's no street team. I don't think we have part-timers here anymore. All right, Colin and I are the street team. Okay.
You did do a good job cleaning up and breaking down the remote.
Thank you, Steve.
And it was funny too. Another funny thing, Dad, Steve was just watching us. Steve, get your hands dirty once in a while.
I had to go in and see partners, so
okay.
My bad.
Yeah,
Now, Steve, did you
buy and support the remote
for youth basketball playoffs starting this weekend? Did you float a best of 5? Did you float best of 7? 3 rounds, best of 7 will be finished. A little after St. Patrick's Day. How did you float this in this board meeting?
I understand that when you're like the type of person that's innovating, you're always going to have the naysayers because they can't see the bigger picture. So I've always, someone needs to be the leader and with that are going to come, darts when you're the target. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm fine with it.
Steve wanted the best of 5. You wanted this to be, Monday. It's like an NBA Finals NBC schedule. You have 2 days for travel.
Hey, wait. Is Swagger still here? here?
Swagger's right
yes,
here.
I'm here.
Swags is here.
So Swagger, these guys, they had a very unfortunate incident too. They had a kid get hurt, and he probably won't be cleared to play. We hope he will be, but most importantly, we hope he's okay. So we reworked the entire schedule to give them the maximum amount of time before they played because they earned a bye and stuff. So
The key word, earned a bye. So that we
Was
have,
this the kid that you guys got back on your team? That
no, that's
different
the other kid on their
that
team.
was, and Steve. Steve was the reason that this kid was taken off our team. But that's another story for another day.
Except I was the reason he was put back on your team. But everything else you said was accurate.
I robbed the bank, then I brought the money back. All right,
Right.
go ahead.
So you extended the playoffs to help them, and now they're complaining about the length of it because they have an event to go to on the back end.
Set up. Yeah, it's all set
We're gonna,
up.
and it's a best of three, and the best of the first game one is I can't believe game one is I believe like next Tuesday or Wednesday, and then it goes to like the next day or something like that.
I would.
So we have to win in two, which is like
But didn't you wake up early to go to the Jags game? Why can't you do the same for Gasparilla?
Because I'd go down
No,
Friday. I would go down
and
Friday
the
after
game
the
would be
show.
on Saturday. The game would be on
Game
Saturday.
would be it'd be on Saturday. But here's the thing: if we're in that
Oh,
game,
after.
I'll stay
Oh,
back.
after. The game's gonna be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
They need to fly to the road team. They need to fly to the road game, the day before. And we want these kids to have the same experience.
If I'm, let's put it this way: if we are in that game, I would stay back. I would stay back.
I'd have to make a decision. I prefer not to have to make a decision.
The decision is you
I would
stay.
stay back. Colin
stay
was
and coach.
originally on this. He was on the
Gasparilla's
Gasparilla
every year. Coaching in a championship doesn't happen all the time, so you got to make the decision.
How do you think? Well, hold on. I'm getting older and older. My years of going to Gasparilla, it's similar to you're done.
But what about how many more years do you have to win a championship? I mean,
point.
it's hard to get to championships. I've coached a zillion teams. I've played.
Steve,
Colin,
hold on. This is a
very
coach
few
problem.
championships.
Colin's 22 years old. I'm 31.
Well, you're aging in years. Maturity-wise, I don't know if
Hang
it's
on.
going at the same
Hang on.
level. So I think you're
hold
still
on.
okay.
I'm 31.
Agreed.
Kyle, should I be not going to Gasparilla at 31?
I mean, dress like a pirate.
I mean, the
There
pirate
is an
thing
age
was a
limit there.
joke.
I don't know, man. There's gonna be.
How old were you when the last time you went to Gasparilla?
I mean, I was 20 something. I was in college.
Steve, have you ever been to Gasparilla?
No, not the festival, just the bowl.
Wow. So Steve has never been. Okay, interesting. So 20 something, Mike. I don't know.
31, too old?
Your brother lives there. He knows. You
Yeah.
know.
I don't know.
And my
You know,
brother's
it's a good
older than me,
point.
for the record, by the way.
When you think about pirates, what age do you think pirates are? I always think they're like their assistant guy is like 50, maybe 55.
Yeah, it's an older
but, like, they look
demographic.
like 60, but yeah, the pirate itself maybe 31.
It's also like a family. It's like a family-friendly event. There's gonna be plenty of people, Mike, your age.
Oh, yeah.
You guys are also assuming you're not going to lose in two. Like, if you
We're
lose the first
assuming
two,
we're
then
there.
you're not.
right. We are assuming we are going to be there.
That you're
That's a good point.
taking this thing to a 3-game series.
There's some truth to that.
I should. You want to know what I should do?
Or winning two.
Yeah, or winning two,
They
but-
beat
Yeah.
us. They beat us last time we played.
Hold on. You know what's funny is Steve says winning two, and then he mentions his team. That's also an assumption that he'll be there as well. Steve?
Well, I'll tell you where I will be coaching because I made a commitment. I'm not at the Gasparilla Bowl that weekend.
The Gasparilla Bowl is a college football bowl game. This is the festival that happens.
Steve,
Am I right on that?
Yeah, you're right.
okay,
You're right.
all right.
No, and the other thing is, Colin has texted me 3 different times asking for the date.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, I can make that work. And then he texts me again, and I keep saying the finals are the 31st at latest. And then he texted me, and then he writes, sounds good, or that'll work. And then he texted me yesterday and said,
Now we're
as long
making
as
things
we're done
up.
by the 30th, I'm good.
Now we're
look at the text.
No. Now we're making this up. I texted
Look at
Steve. I
the
said,
text.
Steve, is the season over by the 31st, which is next Saturday? And he goes, yeah.
Well, then,
No,
it's
no.
over because it ends on the 31st. I mean, that's it.
That was the misconception. See, I didn't like that. I don't know. Steve screwed this up. Going to a board meeting saying, let's do a best of 7. I think a little rough. Steve?
Schedule listed last October said the championship Saturday will be January 31. So it didn't matter if it got to 3,
Fair
2,
enough.
how we got there. That was detailed for you guys before the season started. Yeah, I'm sure Eric Spoelstra is, because you guys are paid similarly to do this job.
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure Eric Spoelstra at the beginning of the year is like, NBA Finals, when are they? Yeah, let's schedule a cruise.
Steve, what's going on? What's going on with Duffy, Steve?
Well, one thing's for sure. This is a very effective segment, guys. One thing's for sure. Duffy
Says that every time he joins, by the way.
For the postseason. A full roster of football features are here for the limited time, including the barbecue pulled pork nachos, the hand-cut tortilla chips, slow-cooked pork shoulder with the Jack Daniel's barbecue sauce, the barbecue rub, the creamy queso blanco, the crispy onions, and the jalapenos. Of course, you got the double smash burger, the award-winning wings tossed in 17 different flavors to choose from, the 2-for-1 drinks, the game day buckets, and, of course, watch your favorite team advance in the playoffs on one of the 80 big screen TVs at each location. You know what I heard the other day? I don't know if you heard, in the national championship game in the Palm Beach Gardens, a couple of the communities completely lost cable. Completely lost cable. There was a mad rush to Duffy's, from what I understood, and it turned out to be a great place to watch the game because no one does football season like Duffy's. Visit your local Duffy's Sports Grill. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Thought we merged it today. Appreciate it, Steve. Appreciate it, Chris. We'll talk next time, all right?
Thanks, guys.
That's Steve Politzino. That's Chris Swagger. That's Mike Rizzo. Colin Russo. We'll do a little 5 and 5 next. It's Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
Anajar and Levine.
Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 106.3.
WESP Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station.
Experience the world's premier equestrian event right here in Wellington, Florida. The Winter Equestrian Festival brings together Olympic and world champion riders and horses from all around the globe for 13 weeks of elite international competition and unforgettable moments. Don't miss the iconic Saturday Night Lights, high-energy show jumping, incredible atmosphere, and excitement under the lights. Now through March at Wellington International. Visit wellingtoninternational.com for more information. Wellington International, where champions are made.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
ESPN 106.3 is your home for live sports presented by Hard Rock Bet, home of Inter Miami, Miami Heat, and the Miami Dolphins. Catch all the action and the biggest matchups throughout the week right here on ESPN 106.3. Hard Rock Bet, it's Florida's official sports book. Try Hard Rock Bet now and receive up to $100 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida, must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida. Wager terms and conditions apply. Consider by gambling. Call 1-888-ADMITTED.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Funnel cake, rice, farm animals.
Wake up, South Florida Fair.
Don't tell me what's fair. What? The South Florida Fair is open? Why didn't you say so sooner? Countless attractions, vendors, mouth-watering food. There be something for everyone. See all the activities at southfloridafair.com or download the Fair app. Open now in West Palm Beach.
January 16th to February 1st.
Calling all sports fans, grab your MVP card and head to Duffy's where you can catch all of the action. Not an MVP? Sign up for free and start earning rewards today. Duffy's is voted the best sports grill year after year with their award-winning burgers and wings. Don't forget about Duffy's famous 2-for-1 drinks all day, every day. And with over 80 TVs in every location, you'll never miss a minute of the game. Visit Duffy'sMVP.com to learn more. Duffy's, our game is always on.
Kaiser University's flagship campus, the 100-acre residential campus at 2600 North Military Trail in West Palm Beach, extends Kaiser University's educational offerings to over 100 degrees within the heart of South Florida. Kaiser University also has an athletic program with 27 national championships, including their 3rd championship in women's soccer. Visit KUCHawks.com for the latest on the championship athletic programs at Kaiser University.
Every great performance starts with a plan. Your game plan for greatness begins at Men's Only Medical. Dr. Al is redefining men's health with concierge care and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. From anti-aging and weight management to cardiovascular health, skin, and hair, they've got you covered. Expect personalized care and advanced technology to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Visit mensonlymedical.com. Men's Only Medical, setting a new standard for men's health.
When a trophy is raised, it can feel like the season's over. But on the ESPN app, it never really is. Because with more than 47,000 live events, plus originals, highlights, and coverage from every corner of the sports world, there's always something to dive into on ESPN. That's no offseason, just everything a fan needs to keep going. Always in season, get all of ESPN, all in one place. Download the ESPN app on your TV or phone today to get involved.
Hey, Colin, man.
Good people. It's Theo Dorsey. Let's kick off the new year with a home upgrade that's a win for you and the environment. A Culligan high-efficiency water softener helps you use less soap, less detergent, and fewer chemicals. Talk about a game-winning play. Try Culligan today for 12 months interest-free. Visit Culligan.com for more information and to schedule your free water test. Or just say,
Hey, Colin, man.
The 5 p.m. hour is presented by Good Greek Moving and Storage, the world's only total relocation company. Local or long distance, they've got you covered.
Good Greek moving and storage. Your superhero movers.
Now, it's time for a little R&R.
Colin to the bucket, lays it up and in.
Ball game, Rizzo! Live in the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios, this is Russo and Rizzo on ESPN 106.3.
This team is going to be tough when they finally get it together.
Sit back and relax. Let Russo and Rizzo take you home.
Oh, mercy!
Light him up, Colin!
Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3. Colin Russo, Mike Rizzo, Christian Cat. We're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter/X at ESPN West Palm, ESPN South Florida. Go get your health in top-notch order. Go make sure that all the dots, all the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed over Men's Only Medical.
Absolutely. And what they do over Men's Only Medical, first off, for men, all my ladies out there, I'm sorry, you're going to have to go find your own spot. But it's only for men. Men's Only Medical, only for the men. And what with my experience that I had at Men's Only Medical, Doc Al's my primary doctor. And we're working on the weight management and nutrition program. And what we did was, ask yourself this, folks. When's the last time you had your blood work done? When's the last time you had all the bells and whistles checked to make sure that everything is okay? And we did that, and thankfully, everything checked out. But there was something that I found out. There was something I found out that, hey, if I stay on this track, something's going to happen. And thankfully, I took the preventative measures from that happening in the future. I'm a 31-year-old, I'd like to think young man, but I'm a 31-year-old man. I am taking measures now and taking matter in my hands now so things don't happen when I'm 50, 60, 70 years old. Go do that with Doc Al over at Men's Only Medical. And if you do, hey, they say you are an older gentleman listening, you got some things going on, Doc Al will be able to help you. If you have hair loss, if you need a skin assessment, all right, if you're like me, want to do the weight management and nutrition, go get the Steiku body fat test. You get put on a machine, you do a 360, and the camera shows how much body fat you're working with, where you got to lose the fat. And the best part about Doc Al, he lets you know exactly how to do that, what foods you should be eating. And I didn't even know that you were supposed to be eating certain specific foods for your blood type. This is all stuff you could do with Doc Al over in Men's Only Medical. They're on North Dixie Highway. Go see what Dr. Al, men out there, all my men out there, go see what Dr. Al could do for you. And for even more information, mensonlymedical.com, mensonlymedical.com. And if you go see Doc Al in person, tell him Riz sent you.
Christian Cat is our producer behind the glass today. Christian, hello. How are you today? What's going on?
Doing spectacular. Nothing short of it. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else.
Nothing notable the last couple of days?
National championship game hangover is still happening. Getting home at 3:30, I've realized that I am not a bounce back guy. It takes a while for me to get back on a normal sleep schedule. But we're making do. We're having fun. We're talking about football. How much better can it get?
Amen to that. Let's bounce around. In the meantime, let's do a little 5% of our Flagler Credit Union.
5 topics.
High five.
5 o'clock.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Let's get out of here.
Endless takes.
You can't handle the truth.
All gas, no brakes.
And it's shaking Big Ten.
It's time for the 5 at 5.
Hold on to your butts.
Presented by Flagler Credit Union, proud supporter of FAU athletics. Number 1.
Let's get to the NFL. Let's get to drama in the NFL. Well, Kevin Stefanski was fired from the Cleveland Browns as their head coach this offseason, and he was hired by the Falcons. Kevin Stefanski was the head coach of Baker Mayfield when he was in Cleveland. And apparently Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski haven't kept in touch because of the messy exit of Baker from Cleveland. When a beat reporter tweeted out that the Falcons' new head coach, Kevin Stefanski, he tweeted out that they had a dumpster fire at quarterback in Cleveland, saying that Baker Mayfield and Deshaun Watson were failures. Baker Mayfield took to the internet, took to the Twitter fingers, and said, "Failed is quite the reach. Still waiting on a text and call from Stefanski after I got shipped off like a piece of garbage. Can't wait to see it twice a year, coach." Of course, now that Baker's the quarterback at Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Stefanski is in the division with the Falcons. Do you like Baker Mayfield showing some animosity during the offseason for now a divisional rival?
And Baker's the one to hold a grudge, right? Like, that's been sort of the story. He's never been afraid to hold a grudge. He's never been afraid to show it. I mean, Mike, you know more than me. Does he have a hill to stand on?
I thought he was above this stuff now. You know what I mean? I told you numerous times that a big reason why Baker Mayfield isn't with the Cleveland Browns anymore is because he needed to do a little growing up. He didn't handle some situations the best he could. I think it had more to do with him playing injured, but neither here nor there. All right? I thought he was above this kind of stuff. I think it's petty. I do. I think it's a little petty. I thought Bake, at this point in his career, being the franchise quarterback for the Buccaneers, I thought he was, could put this stuff behind him. But if this is what he needs to do to fire himself up to play a division rival in the Falcons every year, fine. But I thought he was above this by now. I thought he was.
I see both sides.
I thought he was.
I see both sides. Well, I mean, what has Kevin Stefanski ever done to anybody? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like when he didn't call you 5 years ago.
I don't think Baker getting shipped out had more to do with the owner than Kevin Stefanski.
That's a 28-year-old guy who is now in the perfect situation. You never wanted to be a Browns quarterback. You got a perfect extension at a good spot. You just missed the postseason, and you're still holding grudges on your ex-coach from 3 teams ago. I mean, I see the point.
Won a playoff game, 2 years ago?
I see the point.
So,
well, we are still in the wake of the national championship game in college football that happened down the road at Hard Rock Stadium. Not represented in that game was the SEC. The ACC's Miami versus the Big Ten's Indiana. Who had something to say about that matchup and about that program that Curt Cignetti has risen from the ashes? Well, as Mike likes to call him, the mouth of the South, Paul Feinbaum. Here's what he had to say on the Paul Feinbaum Show.
But let me assure you, nobody was more incorrect in understanding that process than me. Almost everything I said throughout the season about him and about Indiana was wrong, and it was an epic failure on my part. There was no question Indiana was the best team, and yes, the Big Ten is the best conference in the country. We congratulate Coach Cignetti, Indiana, and the Big Ten for an extraordinary run.
Paul Feinbaum on the Paul Feinbaum Show, congratulating Indiana, as you heard, on an undefeated national championship. Mike, was anybody more wrong on Indiana than Paul Feinbaum?
Me. That's who was me.
Nice little ball on the tee.
I didn't buy him. I didn't buy him all year long. I thought once they played in Ohio State, they played in Miami, played a team who has top-tier talent, that they would go to the wayside. But it turned out Fernando Mendoza, he was the best quarterback in the country. Turns out all those 3-star 25, 24-year-olds that they have, turns out that, their experience playing football has a lot to do, more to do rather than maybe some stars on a paper. And Cignetti can coach. I got to bite the bullet this year. I'm looking forward to the matchup when Ohio State goes to Bloomington. We'll find out the Big Ten schedule later on this week. But I'm with Paul. I tip my cap. My Duffy's MVP of the week. You can go look at ESPN West Palm. Us on Instagram at ESPN West Palm. I gave my MVP to Indiana. Even though I am sick to my stomach that Sig and them won the championship, at least it stayed in the Big Ten. And I am known as Big Ten Mike. I'm Big Ten Mike in all my friend circles. That's the one thing
it's like when Michigan won.
It's
for the good of the conference.
It's a little different. It's a little bit
for the good of the conference.
It's a little different. All right, it's a little different. But
is the Big Ten the best conference in college football? That was my real jump off.
I think so. I think so. I told Colin. I think teams like Illinois. I think teams like Washington. I think those teams. Everyone goes, oh, hard to go to Kentucky on the road. Hard to go to Vanderbilt on the road. No, it's not. It's not. Those teams stink. And
Vanderbilt doesn't stink. Let's be a little fair.
And it turns out, Alabama winning on the road at Missouri. Listen, the Big Ten has closed the gap, and you see it in the national championship game, and you see it in the college football playoff, all right? I said this when Saban retired, okay? Saban ran that conference, exception of 2 years, Kirby Smart, all right? Saban ran that conference. It's no longer there anymore. And Kirby, I think with how the transfer portal is and NIL, I'm not saying Georgia's done. All right, Georgia could easily win a national championship next year. They have the talent. What I'm saying is college football is now different. You're not allowed to have – you're allowed to, but you don't have the luxury of having 4 or 5 stars riding the bench for 2 years anymore like Kirby and Nick had at Alabama anymore. It's just not how it is. And I think that's what hurts the SEC the most is that – the top-tier coaches in Saban and Smart were able, and even Dabo, for that record, were able to get top-tier talent to wait their turn to their sophomore, arguably junior and senior year for some of
I
these
think there's
kids.
something to the fact that the SEC probably is the most talent, but the Big Ten is the best coaching. The best coaches are probably up north.
Now,
these coaches down south, SEC, most of them are fired, moving on, get them out of town. Auburn has never been able to get a stable coach. Florida's never been able to get a stable coach. People like the Texas coach, but, Sarkisian hasn't necessarily blown any doors off. They have the stable one in Kirby Smart sitting there. Outside of that, Clark Lee's a great coach at Vanderbilt. Mississippi State's in and out every year with Levy there. Texas A&M finally made it work with Mike Elko. Before that, it was a nightmare. So it's been a conference where there's just so much turnover. Whereas if you go up north, the Big Ten, there's a lot more stability. Day's been there for a long time. I know Michigan sort of blew up, but even pre-Sharon Moore, Harbaugh was there for a while. Wisconsin usually doesn't get rid of people. PJ Fleck's been there for a while. Illinois' Bielema's been there for a while.
Franklin was there for almost 2 decades.
Franklin was there forever. They have a lot more stability, and the coaching is a lot more consistent. Yep. I would say the SEC probably has a little bit more talent. There's less academic standard to get into schools. They have a southern recruiting base. There tends to be more talent in the south of the country in terms of football. But, yeah, there's no doubt. 3 different teams winning a national championship. Very well could be 4 next year. The top of the Big Ten is great. The bulk of the conference is where it struggles because it's not deep.
The last thing, the NIL era has favored the Big Ten. The Big Ten has deeper checkbooks than the SEC, too. That's a whole nother thing that pundits and people who cover the sport have been bringing up is that, the SEC has car dealerships. The Big Ten is tech conglomerates. Now
a couple schools do, but yes.
Well, we led the show with the mess that is in Buffalo with Pagula, Bean talking to the media. They still don't have a head coach. Sean McDermott was fired after losing to the Broncos in the divisional round. Keon Coleman looks to be a bust. He's been a healthy scratch a lot of the season, not because of anything other than what's going on in his head. Take a listen to apparent Bills fan Gina in Delaware and her take on what went down with the firing on Sean McDermott.
Most of all, Faith, I wish you well, Sean McDermott, because wherever you go, you will be a success, and I hope you win a Super Bowl. And to you, Brandon Bean, you better show up. You better show up because the wrong man got fired, in my opinion. You better show up. All my eyes are going to be on you. You think you got in Terry Pagula's ear? You may have, but I don't have the rest of my life. I want a Super Bowl right now.
Gina in Delaware thought the wrong man got fired, and she demands a Super Bowl now. Is Gina right? Did the wrong man get fired?
Gina. Honest to God, her caring that much to call in on the urge of tears and do it. That was a hell of a phone call. That was a hell
Where'd
of
she
a
call
phone
in?
call.
From Delaware.
That was
On what show?
Let's see here.
Oh, it was a Buffalo show?
I mean,
Yes.
it was probably a New York-based show. Kyle, hell of a phone call. I kind of agree with her. I know we were on the wagon of fire McDermott, but from everything that has been coming out since the firing,
the exit has not been clean. It's been scapegoaty.
And what she said there, I told you earlier in the show, the GM has the ear of the owner. That's what's going on here. It's as simple as that.
The Jeremy and Joe Show on WGR 550 Sports Radio.
So, Gina in Delaware.
Fair play, Gina.
I don't think she's right, but I understand her point about the wrong. If you wanted to pick or choose, both should have been fired. That should have been the bottom line. That roster needs a retooling generally from a front office to a coaching perspective. Yeah, the Bills are in a hot water here, and in the midst of trying to find that next coach, they're going to have to make sure they get their pick of the litter because people do not like the way. That was the first time Terry Pegula is taking questions, by the way, earlier today. For the first time in 6 years.
Well, now we know why.
6 years.
Now we know why.
He's never taking questions.
He's out of touch. The guy's out of touch with what
and
the
they
hell's
got
going on
Brandon
with
Bean
the football
was
team.
his guy and his fall guy, and takes all the brunt of the blame and gets to run the team. That's it. So it's a shame that it coming out down to this way, but Buffalo's in a bad spot. I agree. Number 5, 4.
Well, between today and when, the NFL playoffs ramped up, we had the College Football National Championship game. Major League Baseball has actually had their free agency commence. Big signings left and right. You had Kyle Tucker going to the Dodgers, Bo Bichette to the Mets. Last night, Luis Robert going to the Mets. And in the wake of all of this, apparently, according to Evan Drellich of The Athletic, Major League Baseball owners are raging and, quote, will 100% push for a salary cap, specifically after the Dodgers landed all-star outfielder Kyle Tucker, who was great for the Cubs last year. Colin, you've been on this beat for a while now. You're obviously still assuming that's going to happen, right?
I'm under the impression that they're going to go for it. It's difficult. When you talk to a lot of baseball people, Rob Manfred, in his tenure as the baseball commissioner, has never missed a game. That has been a big talking point of his tenure is, hey, I've ran the league and we've never missed games. That's a big.
Never had a lockout.
He's proud of that.
All right.
He's proud of that.
Does he really say that?
Yeah.
He's wrong. Like,
Missed
they could have
games.
played.
No, they played 162. They did. They started later, but they played 162. Did you talk about 5 years ago, 6 years ago?
Talking about COVID.
Whoa.
Okay. Well, I mean, geez.
They could have played. They could have. They could have played more games than they
He's
did.
talking about because of labor strikes is
All
what
right.
I'm alluding to.
Yeah, and that was a global pandemic, but
No, I'm saying it was safe to play before they started playing, but it was only profitable to play the amount of games they played.
The point being is every league got altered by that. What I'm trying to say is because of labor strikes, because of player negotiations, which is basically what the commissioner does. The commissioner is abiding by health violations with that. That's a different story. But Rob Manfred's tenure is defined by how the players' union and the owners are mending and how their relationship is.
Yep.
The fact that he hasn't missed games, this is going to be a tough one because this is his last CBA negotiation before he retires.
Yep.
And if I'd bet a lot of money right now that we're going to miss games and not play 100.
And here's the issue I have too. So like in a salary cap league, it's not that big of a deal because everyone is allowed to spend the same amount of money. But what I'm going to be like, the Dodgers, get hundreds of thousands of dollars for their TV contract that they have.
Hundreds of tens of millions.
The Guardians get nothing. We get nothing from TV contracts. And on top of that, there's no salary cap. So, that is another reason as to why there needs to be a cap is because teams have unfair advantages. Like the Mets, the Yankees with Yes Network. What are the Mets on?
SNY.
There you go. Okay. They're getting a lot of money from that. The Yankees are getting a lot of money from Yes Network.
And then Bally Sports went belly up.
Exactly.
I
dude,
understand.
it is on top of. There are 3 teams, by the way, that spend money in the Dodgers,
A
the
little
Mets,
more, but yes.
and every
Philly.
now and then the New York Yankees. Okay,
Philly.
Fine. All right. The Guardians signed Hedges. That's the only thing we're gonna do outside of maybe add a bullpen arm for $500,000. It's an issue. It is an issue.
I think also what you're saying is there needs to be cap and there needs to be a floor.
Yes.
Because if you have a cap without a floor, the teams that are smaller market teams that like to, take those margins that they get and profits and pocket it, instead they actually have to funnel it back into the team.
And another thing, the Detroit Tigers just went on a historic run for their organization, okay? Finally going deep into the playoffs and winning a playoff series and almost beating see or die Game 7, okay? The pitcher who got him there, they can't afford him. And they had to do backflips in arbitration to get that guy to play this season. And are probably going to have to move on from him by the trade deadline, or else they're going to get absolutely burned, and that guy's going to walk away for nothing. You can't, there's 10% of the league spends money and improves on the team. The Guardians just won the AL Central. Their payroll is going to be lower than last year. The Detroit Tigers, as I mentioned, were a play away from what? And their payroll is going to be lower than it was last year. And the greedy owners, you have the money. And that's another thing. The owners are in fault, too. They act like they're making pennies owning a baseball team. Garbage, okay? You're not making pennies, all right? You're not making pennies.
Yeah.
Start spending some money.
The Tigers were 15 innings in against the Seattle Mariners in Game 5, where they were, exhausting almost pitching position players. That's how close they were to the championship series.
Right. So, Colin, I can't do it. There needs to be a cap. And I'm sure Yankee fans and Philly fans, whoever, they probably disagree. Fine. I would too.
Here's the problem. And I understand they're going to figure it out. I hope they do. How do you build a cap? What does the NFL pay its teams in? It's 200, whatever it is, the couple $100 million that teams get to spend on their players. They get that money from a collective bargaining agreement, and they get it from a pool of money that the league gets from TV contracts, mostly. TV contracts, and they evenly distribute it to the teams. TV contracts go up for the NFL via Fox, NBC, CBS, Prime Video, all these, and Netflix. Therefore, the salary cap continues to rise. Baseball is one of the peculiar sports that relies a whole lot on its local networks and its local TV on top of the bigger markets. They need to sign big contracts that are able to put into a pool of a salary cap. And whether that is, here's the thing that the owners got to go to this meeting against, because the players union, the players are the ones who don't want the cap. They want the floor, but they don't want the cap. The owners are going to say, what's the best league in the United States? They're going to say it's the NFL. Why? All right, well, the NFL is a cap. Right then and there.
Yep.
Not a different game. The sport is different, but the front office it's not different.
And Colin, can I throw another layer in this? This is my personal opinion, and I'm sure you guys will probably disagree. I think the deferred contracts and all that garbage, that's cheating. That's just a whole...
That's another big
That's
problem.
just a whole nother... You want to know... that loophole, to me, is considered cheating. And how about this for Kyle Tucker? I wanted to make sure I was right on this, and I am. This is from MLB.com. The Dodgers... This is on the Kyle Tucker $240 million contract and the $64 million signing bonus and the $30 million in deferred money. On that money, the Dodgers have opted for a competitive, balanced taxpayer status, which means they will lose their second, third, fifth, sixth highest draft picks in the upcoming draft, as well as $1 million from their international pool. Cheating! They don't need the damn draft picks. They have the best farm system. They have the best team. They have the best farm system. And now they're cheating even more to get Kyle Tucker. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous.
It's not cheating. They're playing by the rules, but the rules need to change. The rules need to change.
Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, Will Smith, Max Muncy, Kyle Tucker, Yamamoto, Blake Snell, a loaded bullpen. Why play the season? Damn it!
Now, here's the problem. If you want to fight back a little bit, all that power, and it took extra innings against the Toronto Blue Jays to win that series. So keep that in mind.
Another team that spends a boatload of money, but I see the point.
Be fair. That was Nathan Lucas and Ernie Clement. Let's be fair. But I understand.
I see the point.
And Trey Savage. Let's be fair. But I understand your point. Baseball is thinking we couldn't be higher right now. I think it's more important to them to play games. And if they need to play games, and that's the only way to do that is to you set up a salary cap, then they got to do it.
It's embarrassing. The back end of the league and the payroll, the 25 through 30, fireable offenses on so many levels in the MLB.
And when the NHL...
I love baseball. You know how much I defend baseball. All right, I am a known NBA hater right now with the state of that league. Fine. But if I'm going to be fair to myself, it's a major issue. If I'm going to sit here and complain about the NBA nonstop, this is a major issue with baseball.
And it was a major issue in the NBA in the 80s when they announced the NBA salary cap, I believe in 84, 85. And they did the same thing in the NHL in 2005, 2006, but that's when they missed an entire season to set it up. So when the player costs get too high, that is when you set a salary cap. It has gotten to that point in baseball. Where are we at? Number 5?
Balanced taxpayer status. Go to hell. Go to hell.
For number 5 at the 5 at 5, it's apropos to ask Mike Rizzo, if you got to get banking done, where should you get banking done?
I'll tell you what. All right, I'm not good with money. As you know, competitive balanced taxpayer status. All right, whenever the hell I got to do something like that and deal with something like that, I head over to the local guys, and that's Flagler Credit Union. Folks, when I came down here to South Florida, I needed a bank. I needed somewhere to call home, and Flagler Credit Union is where I called home. They're a non-for-profit cooperative. So, folks, that means a ton of things, okay? But the number one thing I'm going to get across is if you need to borrow money, all right, if you got kids in college, if you're paying for that, overpriced high school, all right, and you need some cash to buy a car, buy a home, make improvements, take a vacation, you go over to Flagler Credit Union and you see what they could do for you, because since they are that non-profit cooperative, they could charge less when you need to borrow money. And the best part about it, for all my West Palm folks that are listening, you got 4 convenient locations. One right here in West Palm Beach, Boca Raton, Lake Clark Shores, and North Palm Beach. Don't forget, they are also the official credit union of Florida Atlantic Athletics. Open an account today by going to flaglercu.org for more information. That's flaglercu.org for more information, or stop by one of your 4 convenient locations. As I mentioned, I went to the West Palm location because I'm right here in Palm Beach Lakes. But for everyone else, listen, once again, Boca Raton, Lake Clark Shores, North Palm Beach. You could do your business banking accounting there. You do your personal banking accounting there. And as I said, you could take out some money and save some cash. That is Flagler Credit Union. When I need to learn on what a competitive, balanced taxpayer status means, I go to my good friends at Flagler Credit Union.
Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat, Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 1063.
Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 1063.
What's the Anajar and Levine difference? When you're injured in a car crash, we focus on your case so you can focus on the one thing that matters most: getting better. I'm Glenn Levine with Anajar and Levine. We'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call our legal team right now for a free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE. We'll help you take back control of your life. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
In office, West Palm Beach.
Hey guys, Mike Rizzo here. I know you're moving soon. Don't stress it. Call Good Greek for your total relocation solution. From packing and storage to local and long-distance moves, Spiro and his team at Good Greek Moving and Storage has you covered from start to finish. Trusted by families, businesses, and teams like the Heat and the Hurricanes for over 2 decades. Make your next move simple, safe, and stress-free.
Good Greek Moving and Storage. Your superhero movers.
Hi, I'm Janice Ridenour from J. Zello & Associates. For nearly 30 years, my firm has worked alongside business owners and their teams, helping them truly understand QuickBooks with clear accounting guidance, proven workflows, and hands-on training. We offer customized QuickBooks online training delivered in a supportive, judgment-free environment so you can learn at your pace. If you're stressed about your books, you don't have to be. Get trained, get confident, get it right. And when you need ongoing support or you'd rather have it done for you, our experienced team is here to help. Visit jzolo.com and schedule your free consultation today.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
I used to talk about the weather as small talk. Now I talk about McValue deal days at McDonald's. A hamburger or cheeseburger for just 69 cents on Sundays and Wednesdays? I'm chit-chatting for days. A 6-piece chicken McNuggets for 99 cents on Mondays? Catch me yapping all day, dude. I'm not even mad about it. You want the deals? You need the app. Get 99-cent McNuggets and 69-cent hamburgers or cheeseburgers only in the app. These deals will definitely give you something to talk about. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Valid Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays in January and February at participating McDonald's. Valid once per day. Must opt into rewards.
Want to accelerate your career as a manager or executive in the exciting industry of sports? Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program is ranked #1 in Florida and 10th in the world. Students learn practical and applied skills from top faculty and experts who work in the industry. With a 94% placement rate for all grads, the full-time MBA program sets students up for success in the world of sports. Check out Florida Atlantic University's MBA in Sport Management program today by going to business.fau.edu.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest, the last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying, just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Whether it's a clutch touchdown pass, a game-winning dunk, or an impressive dash to the finish, we want to highlight the best performance of the week. The winning performance will receive $500 courtesy of Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Catch the biggest moments and winners all season long on ESPN 106.3 and ESPN West Palm Play. Nominate them today by emailing highschool@espnwestpalm.com. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Welcome to being treated like a pro.
Does your business leave a lasting impression? Attractive, eye-catching signs help you stand out from the crowd and create a strong brand identity. Our team at Signorama West Palm are experts in helping your business get noticed and get effective signage in front of your potential customers. Our team can turn your blank windows or plain vehicles into money-making branding machines by drawing customers' attention to your business. So if you're looking to leave that lasting impression, call us 561-687-7993 or visit signoramawpb.com.
Baseball fans, it is back. Spring training 2026 is basically underway. Cacti Park, the Palm Beaches, is the place to be this season. Right here in West Palm Beach, the Astros and the Nationals are hosting some of baseball's biggest names. Catch the Cardinals, Mets, Yankees, Marlins, Orioles, Phillies, Pirates, and even Team Venezuela with the World Baseball Classic coming up all spring long. Nothing beats the day at Cacti. That's sunshine, the crack of the bat, cold drinks, family time, you name it, they got it. Spring training runs now through March 22nd. Tickets are selling fast. They have fan-favorite promotions at Youth Sports Sundays. They have happy hour games, Bark in the Park, college nights, so much fun stuff. Bring in the family. Go 4 for 4 with the family 4-pack. That's 4 tickets, 4 dogs, 4 drinks, and 4 chips. Visit cactipark.com to lock in your seats today. Spring training baseball is here in West Palm Beach. Don't miss a moment. Maybe these teams don't even need to show up to spring training because the Dodgers got $300 billion lined up on 2 different players.
All right, so tax payroll.
What, in the MLB?
Yeah, heading into next season, the Dodgers are number 1 with $412 million. Number 2, the Mets, $380. Number 3, Philly, $325. And number 4, the New York Yankees, $324.
How much money of that is deferred?
Yeah, I mean, so
that's $68 million of Shohei Ohtani's deferred. So they're in the $600 million range.
Right. And obviously with the bogus stuff. What did I call it with Kyle Tucker? What was I freaking out about?
The tax exemption.
It is ridiculous. Okay, cheating. That is cheating. That's a fancy word for we found a loophole in the system but it's not technically cheating, but you can't do anything
here's
about
the thing.
it.
What is the argument for those that are arguing, other than the players, for no salary cap in baseball? What is the
Well,
argument?
they want to keep their competitive advantage. That's all it is. If you're arguing for this,
no, but I'm talking
you
about
wanna,
the
if you're
players just want money too. They want
correct.
money.
But if you're a Dodger, a Met, a Philly, or a Yankee fan, you want to keep your competitive advantage because you got your pick of the litter on free agents. I know that Yankee fans are upset because the Dodgers and the Mets and the Phillies are getting all the players now.
Willing to outspend them.
But I remind Yankee fans that, their payroll next year is $324 million. All right? You're not spending pennies on this roster like you think you are.
The thing about it is, I don't understand.
The Marlins, by the way, are $100 million. They're dead last.
Do you have the? All right, so it's $100 million for the Marlins.
Yeah. So there's two. So here's the thing. I got Spotrac up. This is tax payroll total. So an active. All right. I guess if you want the total amount of dollars, the Dodgers are $573 million. Okay. $573 million. Mets $505 million, and then there's a big drop off between 1 and 2, or excuse me, between 2 and 3, because Philly is $389 million. So
what does the bottom look like?
The bottom for total, the Marlins are $100,966,000. Tampa Bay, by the way, Tampa Bay, do you see they sold all their assets? Okay, $108 million.
How many are under 150?
Stand by. 21 through 30. 9 teams.
Wow.
9
a
teams.
Third of the league.
A third of the league is under 150. And on the dot, the Cincinnati Reds are number 20 at 150. Milwaukee, by the way, 155. So it's not like...
So we got a third of the league that are below 150.
And then honestly,
multiple teams over 300.
Throw 19 through 30, because I understand Milwaukee. Give them credit. I could give them credit. They're $5 million over. But it's not like it's that much. But that is the that is, and then Seattle checks in at 18 with 195. And keep in mind, Seattle is a team that makes moves at the deadline. They strategically,
they're starting to spend.
But
they've been better.
They do, but they get on team-friendly contracts. They buy the expiring contracts. They give away their prospects for expiring contracts to go on runs, like we saw this year. Was it Suarez?
Yep.
They brought in Eugenio Suarez and company.
It's fascinating. You got over a third of the league that is under a certain threshold of $150 million, and you have the top line 5 teams spending in the $300-400 million range. That type of disparity, there is absolutely no argument that it's good for the sport.
Yep,
it's no argument. Now, would you say it buys World Series championships? You can't say that, because baseball is the ultimate random sport, and anybody can win at any given time. There's a reason that the D-backs go on the same run that the Dodgers do another year. Maybe the Dodgers are just too formidable at this point, but the point being is it's the ultimate random sport. There's a reason the Mets haven't made the postseason with all the money spent. But what this money does is it guarantees you almost a playoff spot. Go through the top 7 for me in terms of payroll, Mike.
Top 7, Dodgers. Do you want cash?
Dodgers will make the postseason every single year.
Dodgers 1, Mets 2.
The Mets are always the Mets. That's the outlier.
Phillies 3.
Always will be in the postseason.
Yankees 4.
Always will be in the postseason.
Blue Jays 5.
Most likely will always be in the postseason.
Boston 6.
Now we get dicey because it's the same division.
San Diego 7.
A lot of times they're in the postseason.
And I'll give you 8, 9, and 10, even though you didn't ask. Atlanta, Chicago, Houston.
And Atlanta, usually in the postseason. Chicago starting to get good again. They're starting to rebuild. Okay. And then Houston.
That's the top 10.
And Houston got outspent.
Yep.
So how about that? So if you're a top 7 spending team, you're likely, at least this past year, a shoo-in for the postseason.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have a chance. That's what it means. It gives yourself a chance. And as far as like Kansas City 17, Baltimore 16, Detroit 15. Like Detroit, I just complain about Detroit. They have a $200 million. But the issue is they're never going to pay the premium for a guy like Tarek Skubal. They never will. Even though they're technically smack dab in the middle.
And a lot of times these owners cannot afford it. That's the problem.
Yeah.
These owners can't front load a $300 million. They're not that cash
But
liquid.
I can't listen to owners saying they're not making money owning an MLB team. I can't listen to that. I understand you, like, not every owner, and listen, in the NBA, they call it, and obviously there's none of the luxury tax because there's no salary cap. That's basically what it would be, Colin, what you're describing in the MLB for a front-loaded contract like that. They would have to go into the luxury tax and, gamble on a player and trust that the team is going to be able to pay dividends and win games, hence you paying that back. I get what you're saying, but I can't listen to MLB owners saying they're broke. It's the most hysterical thing ever. Remember when the Ricketts, the owners of the Cubs during COVID, they called it biblical losses, and Cub fans lost their minds. They lost their minds because the Cubbies, they were bad at that time. They weren't making the playoffs, and they kept upping the season tickets. And the Chicago fan couldn't understand it.
Well,
the Ricketts came out and said biblical losses.
Well, there's a certain level where the owners are, full of it and talking, over-expanding on their losses on owning a team. But the thing about owning a professional sports team is, in my opinion, that should not be your primary income. That should not be your primary business. That's why people criticize Hal Steinbrenner with the New York Yankees, that is his venture. That is his business. That is it, right? The Dodgers, for example, the Walters and all the other side owners that they have, Steve Cohen, yeah, he's the Mets owner, but he is a billionaire hedge fund capital guy. And same with Walter, who has 100 different other ventures, making money all over the place. So it's hard to critique because each owner's in a different spot financially. The ultimate equalizer to this is just put them in a bubble.
Dude, the Dodgers 5X the Marlins on payroll. That's not, that's a problem. That is an Marlins
it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable.
Very much
It's
so.
laughable.
5X.
Other leagues, other fans in different leagues. If you're a football fan, if you're a basketball fan, if you're a hockey fan, you sit at the MLB and you laugh. The MLB had an unreal postseason. They were excellent. They had a great postseason. They were huge buzz. Everything fired on all cylinders. But you have the 1 through 9 that Mike listed on the bottom. Half of them, most of them, are completely tuned out before the season even starts.
Yep.
Marlin fans, yes, Marlins actually have a lot of young talent. They might be pretty good, but the point being, there's nothing that exciting to get behind. And either this team's going to surprise teams or they're not.
You're not winning a World Series either.
They know that. They know that they're not the postseason.
But that's
getting to the postseason out of 14 teams is wow, oh my goodness, that's what you're thinking of. So it's hard to judge these teams, but you can't blame the fan for being tuned out. You cannot blame the small market fan for being tuned out before the season even starts. Too much money. Too much money is being spent by one side. Why? And think about it. If you're on the other side of the owner, think about it. If you're owner of the Marlins and you're thinking, why do I even try to spend? Because I cannot afford what the Dodgers are spending.
Yep.
I can't afford that. And
and
I wouldn't blame him.
$416 million.
You can't blame him. I can't blame you on that. You don't make the margins.
$500 million.
You don't make the margins for the Marlins. Not enough people go to Lone Depot Park for you to cut those margins.
And even the Astros, who are at $250 million. Okay, the $248 million. It's to the point for me, and we'll have to wait and see. It's a competitive disadvantage now with the Dodgers. And granted, I'm Riz, who are you picking to win the World Series? I'm picking the Dodgers for the next 5 years. That's where I'm at with this sport. I know baseball doesn't work like that, right? Year in and year out, you get parity, you get different winners.
But getting to the postseason, 162-game sample size, the spenders are likely going to be the ones to be there.
Right now, pending catastrophic injuries to starting pitching, bullpen, and stars, all right? The Dodgers have 7 starting pitchers they could throw in a playoff matchup.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
Go download the Hard Rock Bet app today, and you can bet on just about anything. If you have a future you want to throw out on the Dodgers, you can do that on the app. If you want to bet the AFC and NFC championship games, which are coming up next week. If you want to bet the Super Bowl, no more college football, but you got college basketball, you got the NBA, you get all this in one spot. Bet game by game, player by player. Go futures, parlay it all together. If you bet just $5 on the app on your first $5 bet, you win it. You get $150 in bonus bets immediately deposited into your account. It is that easy. It is that fun on the Hard Rock Bet app. Go down today. It's offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus. Physically present in for the wager. Terms, conditions apply. If you or somebody knows a gambling problem, please call 1-833. Play wise. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. We'll close out next. It's Russo and Rizzo, ESPN 106.3.
At HSS, movement is their specialty. Their team of experts provide personalized treatment options backed by over 160 years of orthopedic expertise. Whether you need advanced non-surgical solutions, surgical care, or comprehensive rehabilitation, HSS Florida delivers the exceptional quality care you expect from HSS, the nation's #1 in orthopedics. With 3 locations in West Palm Beach, Wellington, and now Jupiter, expert care has never been closer to home. Choose better, move better. Learn more at hss.edu/Florida. Banyan Printing, your trusted partner for all your printing and signage needs. With 48 years of local service, over 1,000 customers choose Banyan for fast turnaround, free delivery, consistent results, and market-leading customer service. Banyan's all-in-one solution saves businesses time and resources. From business cards and brochures to direct mail services and signage, they eliminate the hassle of multiple vendors. If you're unsure you're getting the best service or value, visit banyanonline.com or call 561-586-6220.
Every great performance starts with a plan. Your game plan for greatness begins at Men's Only Medical. Dr. Al is redefining men's health with concierge care and cutting-edge treatments tailored just for you. From anti-aging and weight management to cardiovascular health, skin, and hair, they've got you covered. Expect personalized care and advanced technology to help you look, feel, and perform your best. Visit mensonlymedical.com. Men's Only Medical, setting a new standard for men's health.
Ready to take on any terrain? The all-new Defender 110 P300S is here. Built for those who crave adventure without compromising on luxury. Lease the powerful Defender 110 P300S for just $849 per month for 36 months. Whether you're tackling the toughest roads or cruising the city, the Defender is ready for it all. Don't wait. Visit Land Rover Palm Beach today and experience the Defender like never before. Terms and conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Fitness enthusiasts, listen up. If you're trying to get back into the gym, you're trying to get into the flow of things, but you're not seeing the results you need to, maybe it's your nutrition. You got to understand that 80% of really seeing results physically when you're working out, trying to shoot for a goal, is how you fuel your body, what you put in your body in terms of nutrition and supplementation. That is where Vitacost comes in. Vitacost Sports Certified Marketplace has over 400 performance-enhancing supplements, all available. These products are on the marketplace. Go check them out today, and they're all certified, which means that they're free of any banned substances, no funny business going on. It's got everything you need, from protein to electrolytes to fish oils to creatine. You name it, they got it. Whether you're a high school athlete looking to take your game to the next level, or you're an adult trying to get into better shape, trying to train for a race, it could be anything. That's where Vitacost comes in, and that's where Vitacost really helped me out in my Ironman training. Visit Vitacost.com/sport-certified to make your purchase today. Use code ESPN20. That's ESPN20 for 20% off. Level up your game at Vitacost. Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. Are we going to be burned for Gasparilla?
Probably.
Well, that's if it goes to a game 3.
Colin, I tend to believe what you put out to the universe, you get back. I think we screwed. We didn't do ourselves any favors today talking about it and saying how
you
it's
think we
put
ourselves, we jinxed?
We did. Either that or we're going to lose in the first game. And
I don't want to lose in the first round.
I'm going to be upset about it. If we lose early,
I don't want to lose in the first round.
I'll be very upset if we lose on Saturday. Do we get more than 3 kids at practice tonight? I don't think so.
I think we'll get 4. That's my number.
I know.
The over-under is 3.5.
Listen, God bless the 2 that always show up and their parents. You could always count on those 2. You know who I'm talking about.
Well, the kids, parents now, listen, Mike and I are childless. So, I mean, we're speaking from a hill we cannot stand on.
Right.
But each kid plays about 100 different sports.
Mm-hmm.
That's South Florida.
It is.
Play 100 sports. You got a best-of-7 series, to get to the first round of the postseason. That's what it is.
But let's just say we're year 2 with one of the players, one of our reliables that shows up to everything. His parents are great. So if you guys are listening, you know who you are. We love you. But I just I think what you put out to the world, Kyle, you get back, and I think we're going to have a do-or-die game 3 on Saturday. And I know Uncle Steve is going to ask us to coach that All-Star game again.
I'm not coaching the All-Star game. I'll tell you right now. I'll commit right now. I'm not coaching that All-Star game.
Listen,
we're all set.
Parents, I love you. We love coaching the kids and everything, but we're all good. As my buddy Pat says, we're all good. Kyle, we're all good.
I'm not coaching
we're all
that.
good.
I love those kids. They're all great.
We're all
Congratulations. Great athletes. Bright futures, all of them. They're all smart.
Christian Cat, you never got your take on the best of 3. Do you like this?
Yeah, that's how you separate the good teams from the bad teams.
It's a waste of time.
Anything can happen in any given game. That's why the NBA plays 7-game series.
Yeah. That's why the college basketball plays single elimination.
And then, folks, at any given time, you could get sick. You could get injured. You could have something going on. Think of my guy, Doc Al, over at Men's Only Medical. He is my primary doctor. I needed a doctor when I came down here to South Florida. I found Doc Al at Men's Only Medical. It is a concierge healthcare service, which means I have Doc Al's number. If I got something going on, I could personally text Dr. Al over at Men's Only Medical. He's a local guy, Cardinal Newman, West Palm Beach man. His dad was a doctor here in West Palm. So a local guy that you could trust, Doc Al. It's a one-stop shop men's health clinic. Get more information by going to mensonlymedical.com. That's mensonlymedical.com. Big Miami Hurricane fan, too. Do me a favor. When you stop over North Dixie Highway and see Doc Al, make sure you treat him, carefully because he's still struggling with Miami. This has been Russo and Rizzo, Mike Rizzo, Colin Russo, Christian Cat. We'll catch up with you tomorrow on ESPN 106.3.